Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in the
Shadeinthecity.
City. I'm Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are going to get into the fan favorite, which is 90 Day Fiance. So thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure that you hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And let's get right into it because we are super late. We know. And let's get shady, y'all. We start off with Eve and Muhammad. Now they're on their way to dinner, and Muhammad stops Eve and is like, I can see your drawers through your dress. So, and basically feels like she needs to cover up. Eve is like, well, I can go get a coat, but I didn't think that this was, and he's like, no, yeah, that's much better.
Jacket, yeah.
Yeah, just a little jacket. So they meet up with her friends. I didn't get all the names. Tatiana, which was one. Tatiana was very aggressive. Let me just say that. But Tatiana says she's there to meet Muhammad to find out if his intentions are true and genuine. He feels her friends are weird. And like they're testing him because they're all sitting out with the titties on the table and, exposing themselves.
Titties on the table.
Right. He asked, or one of her friends asked if he's okay with them having wine. And he says, yes, that's fine. And probably because he was like, because I'm not married to you.
And he was like, I only care about what my wife is doing.
So they do a lightning round of questions and basically ask him about his past relationships, which he says his last girlfriend broke up with him because he was broke, basically, is what I got from it. And I love how Eve tries to defend him and says, oh, well, he was young. Like he's not still a baby, but okay. Whatever in your mind.
But then that brings up the next question.
So then her other homegirl, what happened?
I said, then that brings up the next question, the age factor.
Right. So then they asked him, like, how does it feel dating someone that's like double your age? And he's like, she's still pretty. I said, okay, Muhammad, that wasn't a terrible answer. Then they ask him if he's ever been intimate with any other women. He says no. He says he hasn't even kissed another woman. And they're like, so how do you even know how to kiss? Like, then they start getting real personal and like, well, how do you know how to do anything?
Oh, I was about to say, was they talking about kissing?
No, then they went left. And they're like, well, how do you know how to do anything?
Was it for porn? And Muhammad just felt so uncomfortable, like when they said that, like.
I thought that was very, what's the word that I'm looking for? Disrespectful to him and his culture. Obviously, they're not sitting around the dinner table having conversations like that.
So, but he said he wasn't going to make a big deal out of it because, it's Eve's friends and he didn't want her to get upset. So
they asked his side of the love story. And he says that he went to Eve's profile and he liked her picture, obviously in the bikini, as we know. Then Tatiana brings up the fact that he liked the picture of the bikini, but now it's a problem for Eve to wear a bikini. And apparently they've gotten to this big fight before because Eve wore a bikini and he didn't want her to. And
I actually kind of liked his answer though.
What?
He basically told her that I wasn't going to marry a woman wearing a bikini. Like, yeah, I like you. You're cute. I like you. But you ain't about to be my wife like that.
They basically try to talk to Muhammad and let him know that that is typical in America. And he lets them know that, look, I'm not really here for what y'all saying. That's my wife. That's what I want her to do.
And y'all ain't gonna change my opinion.
Right. And so then Eve, and I don't know why she did this. This kind of irritated me.
But she was annoyed.
So she decides to tell Tatiana what happened before they left the house, which only just adds gas to the fire. And Eve says in the confessional, she felt she was standing up by herself, for herself by telling her, sharing with her friends. So he tries to explain to them that the reason he has these beliefs is because you don't know other people's intentions. He said, Eve knows me, and I was clear on what I like and what I don't like. Eve says it's really not that clear cut.
He's like, but didn't you come to Egypt and see? And she's like, well, we're not in Egypt.
Then Tatiana tries to explain that when men try to tell women what to wear, it's not received positively. And he says he doesn't understand why women over here have an issue with being controlled. And I was like, that wasn't the right answer. And she feels that he might be a controlling tyrant, was the word that she used.
Yes, it is.
Muhammad said it's very clear that they're judging him and he can see it in their eyes. And her friend says, we can see it in yours too.
He said they have their boobs out and he ain't judging them. I said, ooh. He was like, and it shows you just how stupid they are. I said,
y'all better leave Muhammad alone. He's shady.
I like the fact that Muhammad is, I don't care that he's younger. I feel like for his age,
he's sticking to his core values.
Yeah, he's like, I really don't give a fuck what you're saying. Like,
she knew what it was when she signed up.
Exactly. She came to Egypt to come get me. I don't give a fuck where we are now. She knew what it was. And Guillermo's going to help her.
Yeah, he's being a nice little partner friend.
Homie lover friend. And she says that I guess like she was pretty popular in school. She was homecoming queen, she was a cheerleader. Basically, the shit you see
all the teen movies, that was her life.
That was her life. I can actually see it, especially the way she parties and drinks now that she's like older.
Right.
Kara says she's nervous because the balloon installation has her name on it. And, she don't want it to look shitty. Mm-hmm. So they got to do a good job there. Clearly, there's a time restraint. And she's super duper stressed. And, Guillermo really ain't making it no better. He over there playing and stuff and pissing her off and aggravating her. And he tells her, tranquila, calm down. I say, you tell her, Guillermo, relax.
Right.
It's not that serious. So, he tries to make a recommendation.
Yeah.
Telling her, do one line here and then do one line here. And
Kara ain't trying to hear nothing he got to say.
And he tells her she's being rude and she just doesn't give a fuck.
She says, cool.
Yeah, she's I was like, yo, this is not the Kara we saw in DR, the cool, calm, chill, like, hey, what's up? Like, damn.
Then he says, you don't give a fuck. And she says, I don't. I said, oh, we see the real Kara now. She has arrived.
So she asks him how he's feeling and he says he's not comfortable meeting her ex for so many reasons. She tells him he doesn't even really have to talk to him, if he doesn't want to. And that's probably because, she knows that, he knows a lot about her. So she wants it that way. She don't want them to talk. She'd rather have them on separate sides of the room, okay? So they're packing up to leave because, it's quitting time and they have to get ready for the reunion. And she tells Guillermo, look, you can go ahead and trash those extra little star balloons. He's like, no, I want to give them to the kids on the way home.
And she just starts popping on
She takes her damn. I was like, I just told you what I wanted to do with it. She don't give a goddamn. She's like, when we gonna have time for that? I was like, damn, bitch, that could have been a conversation. You could have said, like, no, we don't got time for that. She just put that shit out your mind, nigga. Ain't happening. And he's feeling some type of way because he feels like She treats him like a kid, and he's hoping that she don't act that way in front of his friends, at the reunion, because it's super duper disrespectful.
So we see Miona and Jabri visit.
So you want to start that over?
Shut up. Visit his grandma, Shane. And he said that his grandma is wild and, basically
radical lesbian feminist. I said,
oh, he said all that. I missed the lesbian and the feminist. And
wild, strong, radical lesbian feminist.
Okay, grandma.
With blue, was it blue or purple hair?
Purple hair.
I said, go on, Grandma Shane.
Apparently that was his safe space as he was a, child growing up. And when him and his mom would get into it, he would basically run to his grandmother. So I thought that was really sweet. And he said,
look, and tell him, by the way, his mama acts. I'm sure that was a lot.
Right. So basically he said that he really wants his grandmother to like Miona because obviously that's his heart. So then, after he compliments her on her purple hair, and she constantly compliments them on their pink plaid outfits that they, matching outfits that they got going on. Miona and Jabri say in the confessional that they love fashion. It's their passion.
He was like, that was cool.
Right.
He was.
Right. So for them to dress alike as a couple and show their unity is important to them. I said, okay. So they work shoveling what looks like horse, SHIT, to help.
I thought it was just hay.
Oh, maybe it was just, but it was brown. It wasn't.
But it didn't seem like big. It just seemed like it was just straw, I thought.
Maybe I'm wrong. But basically, as Miona is helping to shovel, Jabri tells her she looks like a beautiful cowgirl. She says, no, I don't like that. I don't like that, Jabri. Don't say that.
And so, she really don't want to shovel this shit. She's doing it because she want to be a good daughter-in-law. She don't want to fuck up her shoes. She said,
you stupid. So, what is the lady's name? Shane asked Miona how she feels about living at home. What'd you say?
I said, am I rubbing up on you?
Yes, you are. So Shane asked Miona how she feels about living at home with Mahala and Brian. Miona says that she's giving them a lot of rules. She tells her about the issue brought up about her clothing and that, it kind of made her sad. And then this is one thing I'm here for Grandma Shane. She pretty much apologizes on Mahala's behalf. Mm-hmm. And it's just just take it with a grain of salt. And, she may really be trying to protect you. This is South Dakota and not everybody is as open-minded. So I could appreciate her saying that to Miona to hopefully try to break some of the tension between her and Mahala. And Miona does say that she thinks that Grandma is a little bit more open and cool. Grandma says in her confessional that it's really up to Miona to make it work in Mahala's house, or she'd be risking the whole reason she even came here. All three talk about the wedding plans and on the ranch, and she lets them know that she has no interest in doing that. She's been dreaming of her beach wedding since she was a kid. Basically, Jabri is like, so you want to move to LA and have a beach wedding in less than 90 days? And she says, yeah, which we knew. So Grandma said she wants him to be loved and accepted as he is and wants someone for him that is patient. And she's not sure about the patience part when it comes to Miona.
And she's telling him he better start going buy some lottery tickets. So Emily and Coben, they go in the room to wake up Kobe. And, she asked him, how was his first night in the U.S.? Like she didn't kick his ass out the room the night before. Okay. How the fuck you think it was? Okay. And basically he says he didn't expect to spend his first night in the U.S. alone in the goddamn room away from his son. Mm-hmm. And she, I don't know, I guess to give some half-ass apology and, basically blames it on the fact that, well, the baby ain't going to go to sleep with you here in the room with us. So I have to, she said in the confessional, she has to accommodate Coben first.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you accommodate your goddamn self. Emily is being a bit of a micromanager. And
Like a mama.
yeah, and tells him like to stop tickling Coben while he's trying to change his diaper. I'm like, yo, like relax. So in the confessional, she says she
It
like
really bothers me how she like, I get it. I'm a mom myself, y'all. But that level of that, I don't know. I don't think that's even healthy. I don't think that's healthy.
so in the confessional, she says that she likes things a certain way. She's a Virgo. She's very precise, and it's her way or the highway. So it's hard to allow Kobe to take over right now. Now let's say this.
But can I tell y'all something? When when she said she was a Virgo, guess who the first person I hit? And I said, Emily is a Virgo.
Let me tell you this. As a Virgo, okay,
tell us, Virgo.
We do like things a certain way. Okay. We do like things a certain way. I'm not going to lie to you, but I refuse to claim her as a okay. She is, and listen here, okay. I love my Virgos, but I believe I need to know when her birthday is, okay? Because if she's an August Virgo, we are not the same. She is a Martian, okay? On top of that, all right, she's a little bit extra. That the micromanaging his own child, like to change his like that's immaturity. I don't know. I don't even know what to call that. That has nothing to do with her being a Virgo. Okay. Virgos are the shits. We are the shits. She is not. She's a Martian. Okay. So Kobe basically says, like, he knows how to handle his son. He got this.
Right. Can you back up a little bit and just let me, and I get it. Coben's trying to warm up so he's not like happy-go-lucky, but I hope they realize that boy is going to, one, he's spoiled. But two, he's going to cry until he gets accustomed to his father because his father is not spoiling him.
And apparently Kobe is around kids all the time. Like he deals with kids all the time. So he's like, maybe she's never seen me deal with kids, but right. I deal with kids. So I know what I'm doing. She needs to give me space. She needs to trust me. So then they're going out because she wants to show him this Salina. Okay. I don't know why it makes me want to say saliva. And he goes to put Kobe in the car seat and he tells Emily like he thinks that he should drive. Because he's a better driver. And the roads in I guess Cameroon are smaller and more narrow and it's harder to drive there. And they got wide roads here in the US and
he wants to try it out.
He got this. Emily ain't with it. Now
she's like, what you're not about to do is test drive with my baby in the back of the car.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This one I felt her on.
No, I'm gonna give her this one. I'll give her that one.
This one I felt her on. First of all, if you want to test drive, we can go out on the parking lot or something like that. We can make sure first, okay, that you can do this. We're not gonna do it with my baby in the car. You can actually get a U.S. license first, because what you're not about to do is me risk getting my car fucking impounded. That's what we're not about to do. Okay. And then he makes like a big deal about it. And he's like, something about, with my car and my son. She's like, hold up, sir, my car, not your car. Okay. But yeah, we're not going to do it. So basically, are you going or you not? And I was like, damn, I'm not going to lie. She put down on that motherfucker. And he just, I guess he feels like he has to go in a car because he want to be around his son. So he's going.
Right. And reluctantly.
Yeah, reluctantly. But he says he is not pleased. I'm going to go, but I am not pleased. I said, well, okay. And he feels like Emily in China was much sweeter than she is now. And she has changed a lot. He says the way things are going with Emily, he like basically he feels like he's just there to fill a space and he's not that type of person. He makes up his own rules, abides by his own rules, and you're about to tell this motherfucker what to do. So she's showing him around, and it really looks like nobody's on the road. I mean, this is like a ghost town. I mean, I felt like there was more people.
It looks like Rapid City, South Dakota.
There was more people in Princeton. Okay, there's nobody.
It looked like Rapid City. When he took Miona through downtown, that's exactly what it looked like.
You know what? You're right. Right, it did. But I still think it was still less people.
We didn't see any people with Miona and Jabri.
We at least saw cars.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw at least like 5, 6 cars. Okay, like nobody's out there. And she mentions, oh, there's a coffee shop. There's a jewelry store, if you want to get me some. But after the way you just talk to this man, you talking about a goddamn jewelry store, you got like fucked up.
Good luck.
Right, good luck. And he want to know about some bars, some clubs. And she's like, I mean, we have bars. So he's like, okay, this is nothing like New York.
He's like, is this America?
Right? Because what I know of America is like Miami.
He's like skylines, great views. He's like, I'm not getting any of that here.
You are not in the right area, sir. I've never even heard of Salina. So good luck with that.
Maybe because you think it's saliva, but go ahead.
I've heard of that. So she goes to show him her dream homes. And it's these big, beautiful houses. And, he says he's ready to get their own place. And she brings up having him sleep alone the night before. And she thought they were going to sleep as one big, happy family, and says it didn't go as planned. And Kobe wants to know how much longer.
She plans on shutting him out the bedroom and keeping him from sleeping with his son.
Basically. He tells her, you're so smart. You know everything. And it's really not good for our relationship. I said, but I mean, he said it in a very sarcastic way, like, bitch, you know everything. Like, I can't tell you shit. And she noticed the difference between now and their relationship in China, and says maybe they're fooling themselves into thinking that it can work. I think so too, Boo, because
I think so too. We see Benny and Ariella, and it looks like they're in better spirits this morning from the last time we saw them. Now they're playing with baby Avi, and Ari says that the emotions have calmed down a lot, but they're still not on the same page. Benny says he had a good day and it was a beautiful place, but they fought a lot. Ari tries to explain to him that being that they just got there and the fact that he would mention already moving to another place upset her. He says he just had an idea and that this is your country, basically. Like, you didn't have to take it that seriously. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to trust your judgment. You know America better than I do. And I kind of do feel like she overreacted. It was just like, you're in the lane, like the city of dreams. Like was he not supposed to dream? And he's never been here. Like,
you know how expensive it is. And
right. Once I can see if you had that conversation, if he came to you with his first real job, thought he was making real money, talking about moving, and you had to really break his heart and tell him, look at the rent over here and look.
But even if you said, hey, this is the prices in New York are ridiculous, especially compared to where we live at now, versus getting mad. His thing was there was no reason for you to get mad. And I completely get it. She's just so fucking stressed, worried about.
I just feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like she's very high strung.
That's why she got mad. She's so, there's nothing that.
Because it's not even, not just this incident, like just some things I'm going to give her, but some stuff I feel like she's very, even with Avi's surgery, like you said, she's very high strung. Basically, she says, well, we're staying here. We see Benny call his sisters, Mimi and Wish. He said that he misses them. And then when they ask how he's doing and what's wrong, he says that he hopes that they will have a good relationship with Ari in the future. And they just kind of laugh. basically he says that, she's probably wondering why you spilled wine on her. And Mimi lets him know let me remind you why we spilled wine on her. We spilled wine on her because she said she was happy she no longer had to see us after we took care of her and her child. I said, now I understand. I was mad at Mimi and Wish before, but I'm not saying it's acceptable, but I knew there had to be a way that her and Benny was popping out and she was able to do things and they was watching that little boy. That's why they so close to him. And so for you to sit there and say that was hurtful. I'm sorry. That was hurtful. Now, they all kind of chuckle about the situation. Then he talks to Wish, ask him, well, have you met her family yet?
Wait. I thought it was funny. She was like, maybe that wine I spilled on her is making her drunk. I said,
oh yeah, they have no remorse. No.
Shade is just international.
Right. It's international shade. So yeah, then after they joke about it or whatever, Benny tells them to take it easy. That is their sister-in-law. And then says that, he plans on meeting the family tonight and having dinner with them. And he's just a little worried because he's met her parents, but he has to meet her siblings. Mm-hmm. And based off of what happened in Ethiopia, he's a little concerned that her siblings will have a lot of questions. Because they are under the impression that he was cheating on her, and he basically feels that they may judge him. Wish tells him to tough it out. Or no, then he talks about financial issues. He says how expensive it is to live over here. And basically Wish tells him to tough it out until he's stable. And if not, you can come back to your country. Mm. I said, they're going to keep throwing that card out. So he tells them in 90 days, he has to sign the marriage papers with Ari. He said, if things get bad and they don't get married, he's going to have to come back to Ethiopia by himself. Wish feels that whether they work out or not, basically Ari should sign the papers so that he can stay in America and be in his son's life.
Or go back and forth so that, yeah, even if he moves back to Ethiopia, he can come back and visit his son.
Right. And Benny feels like, he already lost one son, so he really doesn't want to lose this family.
So Bilal and Shy are on their date night. I'm just wondering if it was the same night that he said he wasn't going to take on a date.
Right.
But regardless, he says it's been a little over a week that she's been there. And, they've had their tense moments, but he's trying to leave the past in the past. Good job. You do that. Shy is apparently loving Kansas City.
Even though it's colder than a brick. Well, she said colder than a dog's nose. That's what they say in Trinidad.
That's what they say in Trinidad. And he says that he has something planned. Well, I'm sorry, he tells us that he has something special planned for her that he's been planning for a while. Apparently, she's expressed to him that she wants to go on a gondola ride. And she's like, we're going to do that tonight.
When it's cold as hell outside.
Yeah, but I know what the fuck she was thinking. Like, I thought this was a good idea.
But she was just trying to smile on it. Oh, this is so romantic.
Yeah, because she knew she was sounding ungrateful as fuck. And she explains that one of the reasons she fell in love with Bilal in the first place is because he's romantic, like right out of a storybook romantic. And she feels like that's what every woman wants. And it is. And it is. Okay. She tells him that she's feeling overwhelmed and happy and grateful. And these are the things that she's prayed for. She said that, she would get so frustrated, thinking that she would never find love. And he says he can relate. Marriage is something he always wanted since he was 10. And, finding the right person to share his experience with, it just seemed like it was not in the cards for him. And he just thought that, that person didn't exist. He says that he feels very fortunate and blessed to find Shy. But also, he has a fear that it may not work out.
Let's get my jukebox going. Let's get my jukebox going. I better find your loving. I better find your heart. I better find your loving. I better find your heart.
Yeah, he fucks it up.
Yeah, he did.
She reminds him that once upon a time, he said he thought maybe marriage was not for him. And, basically she says that she wants kids. We go with this kid shit.
Shy is so half on the baby. All I need is your body next to me. I know who it is. I don't want to hear about it. It's still a good damn song. Go ahead.
All the songs are still goddamn good. Okay. She told him that she didn't want kids initially, but she knows 100% that he is the right person for her, and he has completely changed her mind. We know he don't feel the same way. He says, once you find love, it's hard to maintain it. And putting a child in a mix is something totally different. And me and Trace, we both can agree. It does change the dynamic of your relationship.
Absolutely, it does.
He says his biggest fear is getting married and having to go through another divorce and putting another child through a divorce.
And that's a valid concern.
Exactly. I feel him
mad at Bilal in this one.
And he
but you need to tell her that. You need to express that to her. He's not expressing that.
I don't think she'll care. He feels that if him and Shy don't agree on the baby thing, it could potentially drive them apart.
It could be a deal breaker, as it should. That's why I feel like he needs to be honest with her.
It sounds like it's a deal breaker for both of them. So Kara and Guillermo are at the high school reunion, and she says she's super excited to see her friends introduce Guillermo because she knows he's super fun, he's super sexy to her, and she want to show him off. And actually,
her tenderoni, her little thing.
And you know what? I love it, and he is actually happy and proud.
He's eating it up. He was like, "That's kind of hot."
Right? I was like,
I said, "Oh, y'all some freaky deaky motherfuckers." That's what that is.
So her ex-boyfriend Chris comes right up to her. That she hasn't seen in 10 years, and Guillermo is over there giving her the eye, like, what the fuck is it? Like, is that him?
Is that him?
Yeah, it was him, boo. It was him.
That's him.
She said back. No, you didn't. That's his bag. You have. She said back in high school, he was like a jock and real sporty, but now he raps. So
now he's trying to be a whole. I don't even want to say Eminem because that would do Eminem a disservice. I don't know what he's embodying, but hats off to him. I hope his music is popping.
And he brings up some memories from prom when her mom caught them having sex. I said, Jesus, this is okay.
And I was like, did we think that was appropriate conversation? But I guess maybe he didn't know Guillermo was there yet. So leave me alone. I know what I said. Gil was there. Gil was there.
He tells her that she looks good, and I don't remember how the hell he pronounced it, but it's bachata. Okay, bachata. Okay, I don't know what the hell he said.
Like it might be big B.
Yo, good ass. And he asked her, like, you still singing? Because apparently Kara got them vocals, and he want to put her on the song, and she is all the way down. So he's like, you do. I want to be all the way down. You is on it. And basically, he's like, is your dude going to be okay with this? Because I don't want no shade. Then she shows him a tattoo saying, not fuss, meaning she don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, that was disrespectful. So she tells Guillermo, come over and introduces him to Chris. Guillermo makes a comment that Chris seems like a type of guy that doesn't show any shame. I actually didn't understand what the hell he meant by this. But he basically says he would never be that guy. And he couldn't imagine Kara dating somebody like that. Guillermo asked them, what did they do together? He says everything, like they did everything. They were homecoming king and queen. They would have been prom king and queen, but apparently you can't win both. And Chris says that they were best dressed. Also, like it was like it was a real relationship. He said, like, but she was crazy and she was controlling. So Guillermo does agree that she's controlling, but he wouldn't know what the fuck happened. So if it was so great, what happened? So Chris like, yo, you care if I tell him? And she's like, yeah, go on. Yeah. So Chris says that, he came home from college to visit. He laid up in the bed next to Kara. Kara knocked out sleep, and her phone is going off. He get her phone, and it's messages talking about it was so great to see you, and that kiss was amazing. And he was like, you know what the fuck I did? I woke her ass up.
And threw her phone.
And I fucking left. What's crazy though is Kara didn't even remember this shit. She was drunk, probably. She's like, oh, I just thought like I broke up with him. Like she had no idea. Like I guarantee you, had she knew that, she probably would be like, nah, nigga, don't share that story. This is about to be my whole husband. He don't need to know I'm out here, giving up the cookies.
He don't need to know I'm for the streets.
Right? And apparently it was some guy from massage school. She's like, oh yeah, I guess I did kiss that guy from massage school. Lady. And Chris tells him good luck. But the moment you feel like you can't trust her, go on about your business. And she says in retrospect, she should have called it quits. Like they should have called it quits a long time ago. Guillermo trying to hit it.
Says he never loved another woman again.
He never trusted nobody else. And Guillermo is not trying to hear that. Like basically, bitch, just because you saying that y'all should have broke up a long time ago, you still cheated.
Look, Gil was holding her feet to the fire. Okay. He was like, oh, but you nasty.
And she's like, I grew up. Like I learned from what
she said, I had years. I had 10 years in between.
You didn't even remember what you did to learn from it. Shut the fuck up. So finding that out, Guillermo was actually like really, really upset. And now he feels like, he needs to be careful. Yes, you do.
Right. All right. So Emily and Kobe get back from their tour of downtown Salinas. Needless to say, I don't think there was much to see. It was a drive
back. They probably gone for all of 15 minutes, child.
I was going to say it was a drive back. So, but she feels like Kobe is really mad at her, and she's not sure if it was last night or what he's going through. But luckily, she's going to do her nanny work. So he's going to be with Kobe while she's out. He has a hard time going. Now, Kobe does have a hard time going to Kobe.
I just want to update y'all because I'm super disappointed. Okay. I did find out she's a September Virgo. 9/11, actually. So I see why she's a bit of a terrorist. But listen, we don't claim you.
We can't save them all. We can't save all Virgos. Okay. Maybe her moon is different. Maybe her moon is different.
Yay! There we go, Tree. See? You see?
So he does have a hard time going to Kobe, and Emily admits it's hard for her to hand over her parental card and just let Kobe do his thing. Emily leaves, and her mom stands by and oversees Kobe and Coben. Her mother, Lisa, says it's painful to hear him cry when she knows that she can stop it. That's called spoiled. But she knows he has to learn to develop the relationship. And basically says that, most people had 17 months to learn this. And he's basically playing a game of catch up. She says she doesn't believe he has experience with younger children. And he proceeds to teach Coven his words in French. And I thought that was super cute. super hands-on. Miss, he doesn't have experience with young kids. Now, so as he's playing with Coben, he gets a little nostalgic, and he says that seeing the relationship between Coben and Emily's mom makes him miss his mother, who we learn has passed away. So he's trying to, finally, he has a hold on things. Him and Coben are doing well. And he's like, Daddy's going to introduce you to some Cameroon food.
They were actually, it was 5 hours later, and he is still playing with his kid.
He ain't give him a tablet.
I was about to say, he ain't put him in front of no TV.
No, nothing. He's still playing with his kid. He's playing with Coben, and Emily, he tries to introduce him to ground nuts, which apparently is peanuts before they're ground.
Mm-hmm.
So Emily walks through the door, terrible timing, of course, and it's like, oh, I don't want you giving him that. How do we know he's not allergic? Well, you won't know if he's allergic until he tries it. That's how you find out what his allergy is.
In her defense, working for an allergy clinic before, that's one of the one things you don't give a small child is any type of peanut-based anything as a small child, because it's so detrimental that they can have a peanut allergy, and it's so they could have, you just don't. So that could be.
So would it, because I remember when my doctor told me about trying to give him peanut butter, and like, when are you going to introduce peanut butter? And I was scared, and he was like, no, because how are we ever going to know if he's allergic if you don't ever try it?
Normally, when you have a peanut allergy, it's usually super serious, and they don't like to do it without having something that can, help them or whatever, like an EpiPen or something, right? But
really, Shade Squad, please make sure, if you have not already, that you like
and you subscribe.
But please drop down in the comments and let us know, because I'm learning I'm learning about allergies today. Look, you learn something new every day. I didn't know it was that serious.
It is a huge problem to give your.
Because I thought it was like strawberries, or you just never know what your kids are introduced to. Honey, you know what I mean?
There are foods that they're more comfortable giving, so that you can
see where they stand. Because I thought
if they were going to, or like even seafood, right? Shellfish. There's a lot of people didn't have shellfish when they were younger. They'll say you can even give them that, so that you can make sure that they won't develop an allergy, because sometimes when you keep them away from these things, they develop the allergy.
Right.
But with peanuts, it's totally different. So just because she's a Virgo and the way she is, I really don't want to agree with her, but only because of this, I can understand somewhat why she would be cautious. But I feel like she should have explained that rather than be a fucking dickhead.
Okay. Well, look at Nels coming through with the allergy knowledge and her medical knowledge. I love it. Now, Emily feels like, she has been with Coben since she's conceived him. She knows what's best for him, and therefore she feels like Kobe needs to prove himself before she allows him to introduce him to anything new. And that's what disgusted me. I don't know if y'all can tell already, Shade Squad. And Gracella, am I saying that right? You know how we feel about Emily. We just not here for her. Gracella said she gonna run that man off. She was like, she gonna run that good man off. All he was trying to do is take care of his baby. But let us know what y'all think. Maybe I'm not taking it seriously enough.
He also didn't like the fact that she brought it up to her mom and was like, yeah, he's trying to give him peanuts. And, the mom was like, seriously. He felt like that was super disrespectful. He didn't like the way the conversation was brought up.
Because at the end of the day, this is our child.
And he says that, he wants a woman who will respect him, and he wants to live in a nice, loving home. And that's not what he's feeling right now. So.
Love don't live here anymore.
So Benny and Ari are getting ready to go to her family's house for dinner. And she feels like it's really important that her brothers and sisters like her fiance, because, they know all the shit that went on while she was in the US and his ass was still in Ethiopia.
Right.
But, she is a bit concerned because of it. And Apparently, the walls was super thin. The sister heard it all. She know everything that was going on. Benny says in his culture, family is numero uno. Okay. And the situation in his family with Ari,
He don't want that situation with his her family.
he don't want that. He wants to make a good impression. He wants to have a good relationship. They're sitting down for dinner and, they're asking him, how you like it? Like, he explains that Ari always explained that Princeton is green. And he didn't really understand what that meant. And now that he's here, he's like, yeah, it's green. It's grass everywhere. It's trees. That's what that means. You don't see nothing but greenery. Okay. And actually it's cool because being able to see where he lives in Ethiopia versus where she lives, you can understand why he didn't understand what she was saying. I thought that was kind of dope. So Ari's sister ready to go in for the kill. She ready to ask some questions. She wants to know, last time Ari was here and they were fighting, basically she said she could hear everything through the walls and she wanted to know what the fuck was going on. And Benny said, he made a mistake by trying to keep himself busy, and, linking up with everyone, his friends, or even people that, he didn't even know, going to the club. And,
he wanted to be for the streets.
He wanted
to be for the streets.
He says that he wanted to forget because he felt like, he lost his family. And his sister is like, yeah, that sounds like a great explanation for your mother-in-law, but is it the truth? I said, well, all right, sister. And she says every time she called on the phone, he wasn't ever there. So, oh.
I'm just saying, y'all, these sisters be coming through. I'm just saying.
But Ari did say that it was going to be the sister that's really going to come for that jugular. And, they want to know his plans. Basically, how these bills going to get paid. Like, what's up? He lets them know that, he wants to be an MMA fighter. Okay.
I love how you did this, though.
I know that's not MMA, but look.
Okay.
I love it. I know that's not it. All right. But I love it, but I'm not an MMA fighter. He want to be in the championship. That's what he wants to do. He says he wants to be in a UFC championship. That's his dream. And he also says that basically his sisters let him know, that even if it doesn't work out with him and Ari, she can still help him get the green card. So he can still, pursue his dreams, come back and forth to see his son. And that was probably the wrong thing to say. Ari is like,
it wasn't very, what did Ari call it? A disapproving silence.
Yes. She said it was incredibly strong. And she thinks that he's just having a hard time communicating. And she says that it's frustrating because, this is what led to a lot of their arguments. And Ari ends it by saying, she's the real prize if she decides to marry him. All I know is you wanted that family like you, it ain't. It's not.
It ain't going the way you thought it was going to go.
Kara and Guillermo are back at the high school reunion venue to, clean up, get rid of the balloon arch, and says, last night got really awkward, much more than she expected. Okay. And as they're popping the balloons, Guillermo said, is that like your ex-boyfriend? And she says, no, I didn't hate him. He was a really cool guy. Well done. And Guillermo says he's still thinking about those things from yesterday because, it was putting a lot of tension in the room. And Kara wants to know, why he's feeling some type of way. What is it that was said that's making him feel some type of way? It's the fact that you cheated, lady. And then didn't say nothing. She's like, I honestly forgot. Guillermo thinks it's the most ridiculous shit in the world that she forgot.
Not even that. I think he knows she was probably drunk. That's why she forgot. Because he already said she drinks too much.
And forget shit. But she was at massage school. Well, she says, well, obviously it wasn't significant. Lady, this is somebody who just told your fiance that y'all were super duper in love, and now you're going to say you cheated on him and obviously it wasn't significant to you? You think that was smart? This is your fiance.
Guillermo feels like he need to watch his babe.
So he want to know how many times she cheated. She's like, oh, probably twice. But you can't be trusted. You don't know. You don't. Your memory's shot to shit, clearly. That makes him worry. And, basically he feels like she really needs to change. She needs to change some shit internally about herself. And she wants to know how he feels about, her ex telling him to say no. He completely agrees. He's like, yeah, bitch, I need to start telling your ass no. Because he feels like he doesn't have any power in the relationship. And she's like, well, I don't want you to feel unheard. So he's like, yeah, okay, well, then make some changes. Fix it.
Right. You know what I love? Guillermo is not here for the bull of the shit.
For as young as he is, I think.
Maturity. I said that in my notes. He's so mature.
But you know what, though? And as an American, I feel like I can say this. There, from us doing this and us watching these shows, there's clearly a difference with people outside of the country, regardless of how old they are. When Guillermo said, basically, he told her friend, like, we are not the same. I went through a rack of shit. I had to grow up fast. I was paying my own bills. I moved to another country. Like, we're not the same. So you can't compare what you're ready for versus what I'm ready for. It's 100% true.
I agree. So we see Jabri and Miona, and they're back at the house, and he basically tells us there's been a lot of tension between his mom and Miona lately. David apparently has called up Jabri and says that they have a gig in Chicago. There's a producer that wants to work with them. It's a great opportunity. And he's like, yo, it's time to get popping. What's up? So Jabri is like, well, dude, I'm trying to get like married in like 90 days. And he's like, what that got to do with me? We got to get the
this is an opportunity.
We got an opportunity, and the Black Serbs is popping out here. So Jabri says, obviously he need the money. So he's like, all right, we got to make this happen. So he tells Miona, like, he goes to break the news to her and says, I have to go to Chicago to do my music and work with David. And she's disappointed because she's like, oh, so you thought you was going to leave me out here in Rapid City by myself with your mama that don't have like me? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. So he's like, well, you can come to Chicago. You just are you like, you got to promise to try to get along with David. And she's like, I can promise you I'm not going to start no shit. But I can't promise you that I'm not going to finish it.
It won't be no shit.
Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit. I love that. Okay. So Jabri is like, hold on. That's already the wrong attitude. And she said, no, I feel like David is going to start some shit. And she tells us in the confessional that she's actually hoping that David makes a scene so that Jabri can see who he really is.
Mm-hmm. She did.
She said, I'm not going to be disrespectful. But basically, she's already anticipating David being disrespectful to her. And so she's going to then defend herself. I'm not mad at Miona. I don't care who friend you are. You ain't going to come in here and talk to me crazy. I don't care how you feel about me. You ain't got to like me. You ain't marrying me. And this pretend godfather, let me stop. I ain't meant to say it was pretend. So then Miona goes on to say that, I feel like I'm giving up a lot. I've given up my whole life to come here, be with you. Now you got me following you places each and everywhere. And we're doing everything that you want to do. But what about what makes me happy, which is my beach wedding? And Jabri is feeling some type of way because he's feeling like she's using a tit for tat strategy and playing a game of who's giving up more. And yeah, no. So basically she says that if Chicago happens, she wants her beach wedding.
And he's kind of frustrated because he feels like it's a competition based on who's sacrificing more. And he ain't feeling that.
Right.
So Muhammad and Eve are having a very awkward, silent ride back home from dinner. I wasn't there and I felt the awkward silence. I felt like the elephant in the room, okay? She says, you seem quiet. It's acting like you didn't just see and hear.
Like you weren't at the dinner.
Weren't you there too?
When your friends just tried to judge me and make me feel bad for my culture and how I live and my beliefs, and you weren't there for that?
Well, you seem like you were okay. And he said, well, I held it in because of you. Out of respect for you. These are your friends. I said, oh, okay. So she does agree that.
You know what I can say, not to cut you off. What I can say is I am for Muhammad speaking up for himself. I feel like too often on the show, we see and please take this the right way. I'm not saying this the wrong way, but we always take the foreigner and because they're fighting for or to stay in the country or whatever the case may be, whatever reason they're here, whether it be love or whatever. And we always see them tuck their tail between their legs and bow down to whatever the American wants. And I'm here for Muhammad being like, no. This is who I am.
In the confessional, she says that she does agree that he has a reason to feel disrespected, but she doesn't think, it was intentional. And she feels like it was too much for Muhammad coming from a completely different world. Well, yeah. But you know who your friends are. So don't say it wasn't intentional. He tells her, I respect your culture and the difference between here and Egypt, but they don't do the same.
That's true. They did.
He says they judge him all the time and his opinion doesn't matter. And their opinion doesn't matter to him. And he's disappointed in her for throwing his ass.
And having a conversation about what they had a conversation about before they left the house.
He felt like that was a private moment. She lets him know that she was speaking to Tatiana because she knows their history and knows about the fight in regards to the swimsuit. Apparently, she went on a trip with her family. He wanted her to wear one piece and she wore a two piece. They didn't talk for like 2 or 3 days. And she felt like it was super trivial. So it wasn't a big deal to her. And she told her friend, Tatiana. And he tells her basically, like, you told me you was going to change yourself. Oh my God, why did you say that? Eva's like, I never told you that. I didn't say that. And it's ridiculous. And to have drama over a bikini. She mentions that, he reached out to her because of her profile picture in her bikini. And he says, I told you, I'm not marrying a woman wearing a bikini. I said, oh, okay. And she said that, like he wanted her to change and she agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they go back and forth about this for a little while.
However, Eve said that she never agreed to that. She said he's tripping. She don't know what he's talking about.
She basically says that she made a lot of changes. Okay. She chose to stop eating pork, to only drink alcohol on special occasions. And she cleaned out her closet for things that, she didn't feel that he would approve of, but she never, ever said that she would ever stop wearing, like she would never wear a bikini again. And he basically tells her, look, you can do whatever you want. Dress however you want. But don't get married. Are you going to choose the bikini over me? He says if she wants to follow her friends, he'll have no part of that. He will just fly his ass back to Egypt. And in the confessional, she says she is not a Muslim woman and she doesn't want to be told what to do. She doesn't feel that she goes out looking slutty and she feels proud of the way she looks. She doesn't feel that she should feel judged or ashamed. And she definitely doesn't want to feel that by someone who's supposed to love her. So she gets her pillow and her cover and takes it out to the couch and to sleep separately. And she says, as much as she loves him, she won't get married if they can't figure this shit out.
Thank you guys for waiting on this late review of 90 Day Fiance.
Actually, just so that we know you was waiting.
Right. We know you were waiting, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure that you like,
you comment,
you subscribe,
and hit the notification bell.
And I promise we'll be better next week, and you will get this before the actual day that it's coming out next week. So we appreciate you and we love you. Have a great evening. Bye.
Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe.